Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Is this how you treat your girlfriend? In this video, I'm going to reveal 14 Nietzschean psychological truths that will allow you to instantly read any woman, whether she's smiling G at you, testing you, or even crying in front of you. Each truth is like a key, unlocking a layer of the mask until what stands before you is no longer the illusion, but the reality. Let's begin. Z once said that truth is rarely spoken directly. It is disguised, filtered, wrapped in layers of performance. This is especially true when it comes to women. Her words are not the purest signal of her mind. They are the mask she offers you. Consider this. She says, "I'm fine," but her voice is tighter than usual. Her arms are crossed and her eyes avoid yours. The words are a costume carefully chosen to hide something underneath. The body, however, doesn't lie. It leaks the truth she doesn't want revealed. The first rule, then, is simple. Never rely on what she says. Instead, pay attention to the contradictions between her words and her body. Does her laughter come with tension in her shoulders? Does her agreement sound forced, too quick, as if rehearsed? Nature's insight is cruel but liberating. Speech is a mask, but bodies betray. Nature believed human beings are actors, life itself is theater. And nowhere is this more visible than in the way women display emotions. A woman's tears, her laughter, even her sudden silences. These are not always raw expressions. They are performances often tailored for an audience. Ask yourself, who is this emotion for? If she cries loudly in public, glancing sideways to see if others notice, you're not witnessing pure sorrow. You're watching a strategy. Real emotion does not require spectators. It bursts out unplanned, messy, private. Performed emotion, on the other hand, seeks control to guilt you, to sway you, to bind you. The rule is this: never judge emotion by its intensity. Judge it by its authenticity. Is it uncontrolled or is it staged? Nietzsche knew that humans hide their desires behind drama. To read her instantly, strip away the theater and ask, what does this performance want from me? Nietzsche understood that human beings revealed themselves most not in what they say consistently, but in what they contradict. Women especially are masters of weaving identities, yet contradictions always leak through. Picture this. She insists, "I don't care about him anymore." Yet hours later, she's scrolling through his social media. She says, "I'm independent, I don't need anyone." But when you don't reply instantly, anger erupts. These contradictions are not accidents. They are the exposed wires of the psyche. Nature's lesson is clear. Truth lives in paradox. To instantly read a woman, you must ignore her claims and watch her contradictions. What she fights hardest to deny is usually what governs her. The contradiction is the moment the mask slips. It is the instant where the illusion collapses under its own weight. If you want to know what she truly desires, track not her harmony but her dissonance. There her reality is naked. For Nietzsche, beneath every emotion, every word, every relationship lies one engine: the will to power. It is the fundamental drive to assert influence, to secure control, to test strength. When a woman clings to you, when she insists, "I can't live without you," it may not be pure affection. It may be the unconscious attempt to anchor her influence to ensure you orbit her. The man who believes love is only sweetness will miss the undercurrent. Possession, control, and domination dressed in tender words. To read her instantly, examine the balance. Does her love give you freedom, or does it bind you tighter under invisible chains? The answer reveals whether you are loved as a man or used as a resource. Nietzsche warned that most of what we perceive in others is simply a reflection of ourselves. The qualities you think you see in a woman are often projections of your own unconscious. If you are insecure, you will see rejection in her silence. If you are jealous, you will interpret her friendliness as betrayal. In other words, she becomes a mirror for your shadow. This does not mean her behavior is irrelevant, but it means your interpretation is never pure. Nietzsche believed we are strangers to ourselves, and women with their subtle signals magnify that blindness. The rule then is to ask, what does my reaction to her reveal about me? When you feel most provoked, most exposed, it is often because she has unknowingly mirrored back a part of yourself you'd rather ignore. To instantly read her is also to instantly read yourself. You have watched to this point. We believe you found value from this video. Do well to subscribe, like, and share this content so you don't miss out on other of our psychology and philosophy contents. Now let's continue. Ruth. Nietzsche once wrote, "In laughter all that is evil comes together." What he meant is that people often disguise truth within humor, teasing, or playful remarks. Watch carefully. When a woman jokes about your flaws, mocks your habits, or teases you, there is almost always a seed of sincerity buried within. The joke is the mask, but the truth slips out through the laughter. If you dismiss it as just play, you miss the signal. Her playful digs may reveal jealousy, attraction, or even contempt. The safest truths come cloaked in humor because they can always be denied. Relax, I was just joking. Nature's insight was brutal. Laughter can be cruelty wearing perfume. The rule is take play seriously. In her jokes and teasing, you will often hear what she would never dare confess directly. Behind the giggle lies the judgment. Nature said that silence is not the absence of communication. It is its most dangerous form. When a woman withholds words, it is not emptiness, it is strategy. Think of the moments she goes quiet after conflict. She isn't out of words. She is letting her silence speak louder than anything she could say. Silence can punish, manipulate, or test. It forces you into unease, into filling the gap, into chasing. The rule is this: always listen to silence. If her laughter and words are performance, her silences are weapons. They tell you what she refuses to say openly, what she wants you to feel without her confessing it. Nature believed the truth is rarely spoken directly, and in the case of women, their silence often screams the loudest. To read her instantly, ask not what is she saying, but why is she not saying anything at all? For Nietzsche, life is a battlefield of strength and weakness. Every bond is tested, every claim to power challenged. Women understand this instinctively. When she pushes your buttons, questions your decisions, or withdraws affection suddenly, it may not be cruelty. It is a test. She wants to know, is he grounded or does he crumble? Teeh's tests are rarely about the surface issue. It is not about the text you forgot to send or the minor flaw she points out. It is about whether you can hold your center when challenged. Fail the test and her respect erodes. Pass it and she feels your solidity. Nature would call this the eternal struggle of wills. Her test is not the problem. Your reaction is. Reading her instantly means recognizing the test for what it is and refusing to flinch. She is not seeking perfection. She is seeking saint rank. Nature coined the term resentment to describe a toxic form of memory. Unlike anger, which explodes and burns out, resentment furs. It disguises itself as silence, then resurrects at the smallest trigger. With women, this law is undeniable. If she repeatedly resurrects an old wound, a mistake you made, a word you said, understand this: it is not about that single event. It is about the unhealed resentment beneath it. Nature wrote, "Nothing on earth consumes a man more quickly than the passion of resentment." And he was right. Resentment is not just memory. It is memory with poison injected into it. So when a woman says, "Remember last year when you ignored me at that dinner?" No, she is not talking about the dinner. She is telling you that the wound has not closed. Here's the secret. Women with resentment rarely want an answer. They want acknowledgement. If you defend yourself logically, you fail. If you ignore it, you fail. But if you recognize it for what it is, a disguised memory, you disarm it. To instantly read a woman, look for patterns in what she brings up again and again. What she cannot let go of is where her true feelings live. The past never dies for her. It waits like a ghost in the room. Unsee believed that vanity is not mere arrogance, it is camouflage. He wrote, "Vanity is the fear of appearing original. It is thus a lack of pride, but not necessarily a lack of ambition." This is the paradox. Vanity is not strength. It is fear dressed as strength. When a woman flaunts herself, her beauty, her intelligence, her independence, look closer. Behind the display, there is often a hidden insecurity. She is desperate for the world not to see. Think of the woman who constantly reminds everyone that I don't need anyone. Unsee would say, this proclamation itself proves dependency. For if it were true, she would not need to say it at all. So when a woman posts endless curated images of perfection or constantly seeks praise, understand what is happening. She is revealing her wound by overcompensating for it. To read her instantly, you must pierce the veil. Ask yourself, not what is she showing me, but what is she hiding? The answer will always reveal the truth. Nature distrusted compliments more than insults. Why? Because insults are honest. They reveal what someone feels. Compliments, however, are almost always tactical. When a woman flatters you, do not absorb it passively. Ask yourself, what does she want me to do after this? Because here lies nature's psychological law. Flattery is rarely neutral. It is guidance disguised as praise. When she says, I love how ambitious you are, she may not simply be admiring you. She may be encouraging you to continue working, achieving, striving. When she says, you're such a good listener, she may not simply be kind. She may be reminding you of the role she expects you to play. The truth is, Every compliment contains an invisible string. She is pulling you gently toward a behavior she desires. So when she praises you, do not only listen to the words, listen to the direction. Where is this compliment trying to lead you? If you can answer that, you will see her intention long before she ever speaks it aloud. Nietzsche once said, "Only in war do great qualities reveal themselves." Apply this to relationships. Only in conflict do you see who a woman truly is. When everything is calm, she may appear gentle, agreeable, adoring. But when tension arises, jealousy, disagreement, betrayal, that is when her truest instincts surface. Does she attack, manipulate, or retreat into silence? Or does she stay grounded, seeking truth? Many men make the mistake of judging a woman only in harmony. Unsee would say this is blindness. To truly read her, watch her in moments of friction, for there the mask slips and the shadow reveals itself. Nietzsche never believed desire was simple. He saw passion not as pure fire, but as a negotiation wrapped in flame. When a woman desires you, it is rarely just about you. It is about what you represent, your status, your potential, your resources, your symbolic power in the social order. Nietzsche wrote, "Every passion has its specter, its calculation." In other words, even in the most intoxicating desire, there is always a shadow of strategy. When she looks at you with hunger, she is also calculating. Could she build a life through you? Could she gain stability, children, security, or maybe simply an adventure, an escape, a story worth telling? This does not mean our desire is fake. No, desire is real, but desire is also layered. And to read her instantly, you must look at the layers beneath. Ask why me and why now? You will often find the answer not in her words, but in her timing, in her life stage, in her silent ambitions. Desire without calculation is rare. Nietzsche would say almost non-existent. The final law is the most subtle and the most dangerous. Nietzsche understood that humans rarely see others clearly. Instead, they project. They accuse others of which they themselves secretly harbor. And women, being deeply intuitive but also deeply guarded, are masters of projection. When she accuses you of selfishness, ask, is she wrestling with her own selfish impulses? When she cries, "You don't care about me," ask, is she secretly questioning her own capacity to care? Projection is a mirror held up to the unconscious, and Nietzsche believed that to see it is to pierce through the disguise of words and glimpse the raw truth of the psyche. So when a woman blames, accuses, or judges you, do not react defensively. Instead, invert the statement. What if she is describing not you but herself? This is the final key, for once you learn to read projection, you are no longer bound by her words. You see her shadow, her hidden drives, her secret fears. And with this, Nature's 14 psychological truths become a complete system, a way to read any woman instantly, not by her surface, but by the forces moving underneath. The mask she wears is not for you alone, it is for herself. A woman deceives not only the man before her, but also the image in the mirror. She convinces herself of her innocence while hiding the sharpened edge of intent. If you want to read her instantly, you must see past the lies she tells herself, for her greatest performance is not to the world, but to the fragile part of her that fears exposure. Every woman carries two selves, the one she shows and the one she buries. The surface self laughs, comforts, seduces, and reassures, but the buried self plots, calculates, and feeds on desire. When her words sound too sweet, ask yourself, what is beneath this sweetness? The truth is rarely in her lips. It hides in the flicker of her eyes, the tightening of her jaw, the sudden silence when she is cornered by truth. Silence is her deadliest weapon. A pause, a withheld word, a look away. These are not emptiness but sharp daggers. Men beg for answers, but a woman knows that silence forces him to supply his own fears. In that moment, she doesn't need to speak, for his imagination will do the work. To read her instantly, do not fear the silence. Instead, measure it. Ask yourself, what does she gain by saying nothing? When she smiles, do not assume joy. A smile may be a mask for judgment, a veil for contempt, or bait for control. A genuine smile fades with the moment, but a strategic smile lingers just a second too long. It is rehearsed, weaponized, and aimed directly at your defenses. Learn to distinguish warmth from performance, for the smile is the most practiced form of deception. To read her, you must treat every smile as a puzzle. Her eyes tell the story her mouth conceals. Watch the pupils. Do they widen in desire or narrow in suspicion? The eyes betray hunger, envy, and even disgust, long before the tongue dares to admit them. When a woman looks at you, she measures, compares, judges. If her gaze shifts too quickly, she hides something. If it lingers too long, she wants something. The eyes are not windows to the soul, they are doors to hidden bargains. Touch is another weapon. The graze of her hand, the accidental brush, the sudden withdrawal, none of these are accidents. Touch tests boundaries. It tells her how easily you yield, how quickly you burn. When she withdraws, it is not shyness, it is a calculation to see if you will chase. Reading her instantly means asking, does this touch invite or does it control? The answer lies not in the gesture, but in the intention beneath it. Her words of affection are never pure. I miss you might mean I fear losing control. I love you might mean I love what you give me. To read her instantly, strip away the comfort of her language. Listen not to the words, but to the timing. Does she speak them when you are distant or when she feels you slipping? Words are rarely about love itself, they are about leverage. Every syllable is a tool to keep you orbiting her gravity. When anger appears, do not mistake it for weakness. Her fury is selective, aimed at the softest point in you. She does not strike at random. She strikes where it will wound most deeply. Rage is often a disguise for fear, but fear itself is power when weaponized. To read her instantly, look beyond the fire of her words. Ask, what is she protecting? What truth does her anger try to bury beneath the noise? Jealousy is not proof of love. It is proof of possession. A woman who grows jealous does not necessarily value you. She values control over what she believes is hers. Her jealousy is not about losing you, but about another gaining what she has claimed. The instant you see jealousy in her eyes, you must ask yourself, is this attachment or is this ownership? To confuse the two is to step willingly into her cage. Confessions are traps. When she opens her wounds, when she speaks of pain, betrayal, or scars, beware. Vulnerability is often calculated. She knows that by showing weakness, she can awaken your protector instinct. And once you play the savior, you lower your guard. Reading her instantly requires suspicion. Is this confession truth or is it a chain? Is her story a plea for love or is it bait to bind you tighter? The greatest deception is normality. When she seems calm, ordinary, predictable, that is when the real game begins. Women are taught to mask the storm, to hide the hunger beneath a smile of politeness. If you cannot see through this veil of everything is fine, you are already blind. To read her instantly is to distrust comfort, for comfort is where she hides the claws, waiting for you to fall asleep in her illusion. Patterns reveal more than words. Watch how she repeats herself. The stories she tells, the habits she cannot escape, the mistakes she blames on others, and all of these are cracks in the mask. A woman may lie with her mouth, but her patterns betray her. Does she always shift blame? Does she always test? Does she always retreat then return? Learn the rhythm of her behavior, and you will read her faster than her words ever allow. Promises are shadows. They are meant not to reveal the future, but to control the present. When a woman promises forever, she is not speaking of eternity. She is anchoring you to now. To read her instantly, you must treat promises as signals, not truths. Ask, what does she need me to believe today? Her vow is not a contract, it is a leash. And if you do not see it, you will wear it proudly, thinking it is a crown. Her kindness is rarely free. Every favor, every gesture of care, every unexpected gift carries an invisible debt. Gratitude is the currency she expects you to pay. The instant you accept without question, you are already in her ledger. To read her instantly is to measure the cost of her kindness. Does she give to give or does she give to collect later? The answer lies in the silence after the gift, not in the gift itself. A woman tests not because she doubts you, but because she must. Testing is her way of mapping your limits, of discovering where your walls crumble. She will push, she will provoke, she will withdraw, only to see if you follow. Every test is a question she will never ask directly. Are you strong enough to be desired? To read her instantly is to recognize the test as the truth, not the words she wraps it in. Her tears are not always grief. Sometimes they are daggers sharpened by water. Tears soften you, disarm you, and blind you with pity. But look closely. Do her tears flow in silence, or are they displayed loudly, demanding your rescue? Genuine pain hides itself. Performed pain seeks an audience. To read her instantly, you must ask, is she weeping for herself or is she weeping to bind me closer? The difference is survival, control is her secret religion. Every action, every gesture, every pause is designed to secure influence over her world. Even her submission can be a strategy, a way to make you believe you lead while every step you take was chosen by her. To read her instantly is to ask, who truly holds the reins here? If her weakness makes you move, then her weakness is not weakness at all. It is the finest form of control. Her laughter is not always joy. Sometimes it is a blade coated in honey. She laughs to belittle, to test, to charm, to distract. The sound itself is less important than the timing. Does she laugh when you reveal truth? Does she laugh when you resist her? To read her instantly is to hear the message beneath the laughter. Often it says, I own the moment, I define the frame. And once you see this, the mask crumbles. Secrets are her true wealth. She hoards them like coins, spending them only when they yield power. A secret revealed is never a gift, and it is a transaction. She gives you one piece, so you will pay with loyalty, silence, or guilt. To read her instantly is to ask, why now? Why this secret? Every revelation is designed to lock you in. A woman without secrets is an illusion. Her silence is the vault, and you are the lockpick. Her future talk is a mirage. She paints visions of houses, children, travels, dreams, but these are not forecasts. They are tools to measure your willingness to invest. When she says, one day we will, she is not dreaming, she is probing. To read her instantly, you must see the test. Will you bend your present to match her imagined tomorrow? If so, then you are no longer in the present, you are trapped in her projection. Even in love, she bargains. Affection is exchanged for security, intimacy for validation, loyalty for control. Every gesture of closeness conceals a hidden price. If you fail to pay, the warmth fades. To read her instantly is to trace the invisible contract written in every embrace. Ask, what does she want in return for this softness? For nothing given by her hands comes without a shadow of expectation in her mind. Her final disguise is herself. She believes in the role she plays so deeply that she can no longer see where the act ends and reality begins. She is both the manipulator and the manipulated, the mask and the face beneath it. To read her instantly is not only to see through her illusions, but to realize she is also trapped within them. Her chains are her own, but she will use them to bind you too. Now you know. To read any woman instantly is to strip away the layers, the silence, the smiles, the tears, the promises, the laughter, the dreams. Each is a mask, each a weapon, each a thread in the web. You are not meant to destroy the mask, only to see it. For once you see, you can never again be deceived. Her words may still seduce, her eyes may still burn, but you will already know the truth that hides beneath.